guys, Brian Hilliard here, author of the best-selling book, Networking Like a Pro, and today we're going to talk about your #1 challenge for monetizing your reputation as an expert. But before we get into that, let me just say that we are super excited. We've got a launch coming up of our program on how to grow and monetize your reputation as an expert. We have had people, people have been emailing me. I've got some of the stuff right here, emailing me on some of the different challenges that they faced, which we're going to cover right now. And I want to say thank you guys so much. We've had some great feedback. I am really looking forward to our launch. It's going to be coming up in a few days, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But before we get into all of this, let me first talk about a quick little recap of what we've done so far. Okay? First off, I talked about a 3-step approach for monetizing your reputation as an expert. Okay, so we got 3 things that you can do to be more successful in that regard. Then what I talked about was how to monetize a free speaking engagement, because I know a lot of you guys, coaches, authors, consultants, service professionals, you're going out, you're speaking, or maybe you've been asked to speak, and there's a real conversation around how can you best leverage that and turn that obviously into bottom line revenue for your business, okay? And today we're going to talk about, I'm going to be reading some emails here. Today we're going to be talking about the #1 challenge when it comes to monetizing your reputation as an expert. What happens is, here's the way this is going to work. I sent out an email a little while back and I got all these responses and things, so I'm not going to do all of them. Right? But I'm going to go through a few of them real quick and just kind of, if they're challenges for people here, I'm sure they've been challenges for you as well, and we'll just go right through. Now, let me just read this, and I won't say who said this because I want to, I don't want to put their business out there. But anyway, let me just read what was said. Okay, it says, one of the people here says that my #1 challenge is getting people to understand the importance of the service I provide. Okay. That's a big one, getting people to understand the importance of the service that you provide. And I think a big part of that is articulating it in a way that gets people to realize what it is that you do, right? We talked before about creating an elevator pitch or unique selling proposition. Okay, and one of the things I told people was that you need to be able to take a look at your product and what it is that people are buying from you, and then turn it around into the solution that you provide. So, for example, as a coach, what is it that people are buying from me? How to grow and monetize your reputation as an expert. Well, they're buying more business. Right? Ultimately, people are buying more business from me. They're buying the ability to take their expertise and turn that into business, and that's what I'm doing. So when I'm talking to people, when I'm speaking, when I'm coaching, when I'm networking, when I'm blogging, what I need to do is I need to position my service in the context of a problem that they have so that they are drawn to it. A lot of times as service professionals, we think we need to convince people, and that's kind of that traditional sales approach that I alluded to back in the first session, and that's not what we want to do. A consultative sales approach says, let's figure out where people are coming from. Let's figure out what the problems are that they have. Let's not talk about the product. Let's not talk about the service. Let's talk about, just entity. Let's talk about the problem that they have and how our service can best address those needs. Okay? So, in answer to that one, getting people to understand the importance of the service that you provide, make sure that you have a really good, unique selling proposition, and that should do the trick. Okay? Another one on here is, and that whole valuable thing in terms of getting your service and realizing that's valuable is a big thing, and we'll get into that. That's actually one of the things we cover in the program, but we'll talk about that later. All right, here's another one. It says, as a one-man show, I find the #1 challenge in squeezing more money from my expertise is time. By the way, it's bold, which I think is emphasized. I spend too much time on non-income producing activity because it's so difficult to delegate it. Okay, if I could afford to pay someone a 40-hour work week, then I would be a lot better off. And it talks about some other things. That's a great point too. Time, how many people here think that they have more than enough time to do anything that they need to do? Right? A lot of hands go down on that one. Time is a big one. The thing that I tell people is take a look at what it is. She talked about non-income producing activities. one of the things that I recommend people do is take a look at your day and take a look at it in terms of 4, 5, 6, or 7 things that you want to accomplish. The first thing I recommend people do is to get themselves a whiteboard. Okay? Put all of the stuff on this whiteboard. You know, I need to send out this proposal. I need to do this thing. I need to, make calls for that. Put it on a whiteboard. And then from there, this whiteboard, then what I'm recommending you do is take 4 or 5 or 6 things or whatever and put them on a note card, a to-do list. Okay? This becomes what you're going to try to accomplish that day. I see a lot of people, they've got this sprawling document of stuff that's out there, and they're writing stuff down as they're trying to do stuff, and they know they're not going to get it down, but they write it down anyway. It's like, you ever watch those old A&E movies where you see like the galley scene, they're like, row, 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 right? And it's like, oh, boom, boom, boom. That's how a lot of people feel about their business. They're just boom, boom, boom. That's not how you have to do it. You don't have to be like that. Put it on a whiteboard, take it from there, all right, and then put it onto your to-do list, and then from there, you can actually get your arms around it. Maybe you put down 3 or 4 income-producing activities. Maybe you have some other things that you delegate. Fiverr.com is a great site to be able to delegate things. Okay, if you haven't heard about it, check it out. A great book on this, if you want to take a look at it, is Getting Things Done, The Art of Stress-Free Productivity. It's by David Allen. It is awesome, okay? So those are some things that you want to be able to do. But get yourself a whiteboard, put it down, and take some of those things, on a daily basis, put it in your to-do list. That will help you stay better organized. All right, last one I'm just going to kind of go into real quick is another one. It says, the attitude that I could have done that or thought of that myself, that I don't need to pay you just for coming up with a plan or a strategy. Now, as a consultant myself, I totally get that, right? I'm sure you do, service professional. What's the deal? We're not selling sneakers. We're not selling, paper. It's not tangible. So what happens is sometimes there can be this conversation around, well, I could have thought of that myself. Why do I need to pay you? Right? And obviously that's what you want to get away from. How do you kind of address that? Well, it gets back to that value proposition again, doesn't it? It gets back to articulating your service in a way that people can understand. That's with your elevator pitch and unique selling proposition. But what this tells me, quite frankly, is that you might not be talking to enough of the right people. If you find yourself constantly kind of trying to prove your worth as it relates to the product that you bring to bear, you might not be talking to enough of the right people. You might be talking to people who theoretically could use your service, but maybe aren't the best to use your service for whatever reason. Okay, that we don't have to necessarily figure out. So those are the kinds of the things that you want to be able to do. If I'm into this bucket right here, I'm taking a look at my target market, I'm seeing who falls into my niche, and then I'm making some adjustments and spending some more time with them. Okay? Now, as a matter of fact, we have a resource. As you know, we're getting ready for our launch, and we'll talk about this more, but we have a resource that's called How to Grow and Monetize Your Reputation as an Expert. It has got CDs or MP3s. We've got video trainings. We've got direct connect access with yours truly. If you have some email we're talking about, if you have some questions or anything like that that you want to ask, I am fired up about it. A lot of people, have been saying some really good things about it, which has been really nice. We're going to be making that available for sale a little bit. You can't buy it now, okay? So don't go rush it. You can't buy it now, all right? It's going to be coming out in a few days, and what I'll do is I'll shoot you an email letting you know we've got a special offer that's going to be going out. It's actually going to be, we're going to just really slash initially as a special offer, a special introductory offer. We're going to be giving it away, I almost feel like it, at 40% off. All right, so we're going to be doing that. You will be hearing more about that in the days coming up. It's going to be coming up in a little bit. But in the meantime, I'm hoping you got some good stuff from this. I'm hoping that we took care of your #1 challenge for monetizing your reputation as an expert. It's what people were telling me. If you have one, email it in or put it on the comments field, and I'll see what I can do to best answer that question. But in the meantime, my name is Brian Hilliard, saying so long, take care, and thank you for your time.